purpose and the destination of any Kundalini awakening is to erase your story. And that can happen many ways. You can just get so tired of yourself that you lay down the desperate striving for power and control over things we can't control. We can't control other people and what they do. We can't control all the circumstances of our lives. We can't control most anything. We can control our breath. When we control our breath, we can remind ourselves to stay in the moment of that presence. The Kundalini energy awakened within your body makes that presence ever clear to you. And it also makes the distance between you and the presence ever clear. And your story can become magnified as that unconscious egoic part of ourselves and our survival energy strives to stay alive. It's its way of preserving us because it is connected to the storyline, the identity, the transient nature of who we are in this place here and now on planet Earth. But beyond all that, beyond the elements and time and space, in the eternal now of the presence of all pervading love, is where a part of us always stays. A part of us is never left. And that is our center. And that is that flame inside of our heart. So if you're serious about an awakening, or you're in the midst of one, remember, when we let go of things, it isn't always easy. But we have to let go of what was before we can move into what will be. And we have to let go of the need to control what can't be controlled, which is the Divine Mother herself. We need to relax into the breath and the moment and tune in with an attitude of gratitude and surrender so that we can be guided by the divine within our very selves. But things have to come to a rest. All the energy has to slow down. Our thoughts and our loops and our impressions and everything that's running us like this, the second we wake up in the morning, needs to slow down. So we can hear the things that maybe we haven't wanted to hear from coming from deep inside. So we can feel the things that maybe we haven't wanted to feel, that we feel deep inside. So that we can learn to be fearless and make the changes we need to make to come into alignment with who we are to be. And while we may have mastered who we've been or who we are or who everyone thinks we are, it's not enough. What's enough is that we master our potential, that we master our aspiration, that we become who we dream or who we can imagine ourselves to be deep in our heart. Because if you can imagine it, you can be it. And so we keep bringing ourselves back to the ideal of that love and light that we can embody and we can rest in. That we don't need to be afraid or depressed anymore, or feel something is missing from our lives, or feel lost and alone. That we can live a victorious life of celebration of the divine at all times of day, whatever we're going through, so that our entire life becomes a magical work of art. That we aren't afraid to live, that we aren't afraid of what's coming, including death, because we're always letting go and we're always tuning into who we really are rather than the story that is in the way of our happiness. We don't need to be zombies. We don't need to be robots. We need to let go of who we think we are. And this clinging to this person that is temporary, but the identifying with which is permanent, which is that flame in our heart, which is that energy and that light in our astral body that we can feel coming from the causal body, that we can feel above the crown of our head in that 1,000-petaled lotus opening to cosmic consciousness. And when we open to cosmic consciousness, the light glows from our heart and we know we are complete in that moment. And even if we can't hold on to that one moment that we may have experienced, keep doing the practices, keep coming back, keep surrendering, keep asking for divine guidance. Keep surrounding yourself in as positive a vibration that you can. Create the positive vibration. Create the temple in your body, in your home, in your life. Remember the divine that you are and look for the divine in others. because we have created this story and we are in control ultimately by our actions and our attitude of where this story is going. That's the power we have. That's the control we have to surrender, to tune in to what the moment requires rather than what we think we should have in that moment. The moment requires us to let go. The moment requires us to trust in the light that carries us, that got us to this point. That light sustains us. Our personality doesn't sustain this body. Our personality doesn't make this heartbeat. That presence does. That presence brought us here, and that presence will take us out. That presence is our best friend. That presence is God, the Mother, the Father. Everything we ever wanted is in that presence. But we have to get familiar and cultivate and get rid of the dark layers that are keeping us from that feeling of familiarity and connection with the truth of God's love. An awakening is about the graciousness of the Divine Mother Shakti, getting rid of our storyline. And that can be painful. And that can feel like a punishment. That can feel bad at times because we're clinging, we're holding on, it's familiar, we're afraid to die. And so what is the remedy for this fear that we all have because of our survival instincts deeply embedded in our DNA? Is devotion, is love, is coming into a loving space that you create in your life, within yourself, within your home, that you share your love with the world around you by what you become. And remember, it's all a cloud if it isn't light. When it feels dark and sad, there is the time to listen to that pain. But when that pain starts to become our identity, when that story starts to become our story that everyone around us knows, and we tell everyone we meet our story, it gets worn out. And it's going to keep ripping our life apart until we go, hold on a second, maybe the story is just something I need to at least exist, however painful my existence is. What if I just let it go? What if I just said, oh, I'm doing this because I'm afraid, and it's all I have. It's all I have to be here. It's what I have to be if I'm here. That's what I was taught. That's how I was trained by my parents, by my friends, by whatever relationship I had that was destructive, made me think I'm this person now. And the traumas can cause an awakening. But then we have to go back and reckon with the fact that this part of me has been hurt by something, and I have to heal it by acknowledging it, being open to it, but not identifying with it to the point of being perpetually wounded rather than empowered by my past. And how I can heal that pain is I can identify with that presence within me and let that feeling from the trauma or the disappointment or the depression be there, but hold it with love as if I were its mother. And just bring light to it. Don't push it down and go, I'm happy, I'm spiritual, I'm in the presence. No, don't do that. Notice it and say, oh, what's this feeling I'm having? And completely merge with it, holding it in the presence of divine love. Fearlessly, however scared you are, just stay. That's how fearlessness is developed. Because our fears present themselves in subtle ways. And so it is our job to master how we're letting go of this story. And what yoga really is the techniques that we apply to our life with consistency, determination, and willpower. When we apply those disciplines with willpower, with commitment, we create tapas. Tapas is heat. Heat is the power to transform. When we get up at 5 a.m. to meditate or do yoga, rather than stay asleep and do what's comfortable, we're creating tapas. And when we come up in that frictional place, we create the heat and we start to transform ourselves. And we start to become more about embodiment of the truth and the light and the divine, rather than the investment in this daily story that goes nowhere but in loops. We live it, we die it, we come back again, and we continue the story that has no solution, that has no end, that has no resolution. It only has the need for us to understand that we need to let go of it. And we need to remember, this is who I really am. We all have our stories. None of them ultimately are real. And we're here on earth playing them out with each other, banging against each other's stories, creating more conflict and struggle with each other, blaming other people, pushing it outward. All the mirrors are everywhere. And we need to pull back, take responsibility, make the commitment, become determined, and understand that the truth is about you is that you are perfect as you are, and true eternal love. And when you aren't feeling that, as we aren't, because we are here as humans, born into our story, is because of the story, which isn't true. We don't have to believe which isn't true. We have to make peace with the memories we hold that are affecting us, and it's our karma, but we don't need to create more. We do the spiritual practices with discipline. We go on the spiritual pilgrimages. We make our priorities clear to the universe of what we really want, and what we really want will manifest for us when it's in our best interest. And even things we don't like happening to us, we have to understand, this is in my best interest. How will I master this? How will I ride this wave that feels uncomfortable? How will I commit every day deeper and deeper to the truth of who I am, and believe in myself and love myself enough to bring out the God within me so that I can see it, and I can see the beauty in the mirror, and the love in the mirror, and the grace that has brought me to this point. And so we do the practices to create the power to let go, because it won't happen on its own. We are deeply rooted in the story. Our ancestors gave it to us, and we're going to pass it on. And so we stop here and we let go, and we say, it's going to be up to me now to do the yoga, which is beyond stretching, which is a whole lifestyle change and transformation. You can be happy. However old you are, whatever health problems you have, whatever this world has done to you, has affected you, you can be happy when you tune into the divine of who you truly are, immortal, perfect, and eternal. You can be happy here and now, and nothing stands in the way of that, but the fact that we just need to let go and let God.